Hi, welcome back to Gearjunkies TV and a new video. Today we have the Moog Mavis. So today we're going to check out Moog Mavis. This is an analog synthesizer kit and it has just been released by Moog. It's supposed to be the successor, more or less, to the Werkstatt, and as the Werkstatt was to the Mavis, has to be assembled first. So this is actually a kit. Let's open it up and see what we have in here. So, yeah. Well, that looks very nice. There's a front plate here, metal. And when we take that off, we look inside the box and see what we have here. Some nuts and bolts, feet for the casing, and here we have the casing itself. It's a plastic case, as far as I can tell now. Let's see. Yeah, and it has a nice dust cover as well. So we have that. Then we have, of course, the most important part here, which is the printed circuit board of the Mavis. Let's see what that looks like. So, nicely protected, and here we are. So you can see all the encoders, the patch bay, and the knobs of the sequencer, which I think it is. Let's put it aside for a moment. Let's see what else we have here. So we have some patch cables, which will come in handy later, I guess. And we have, I think, a power supply. Yeah, okay, that's nice. So what else? We probably would need some things. So this is a calibration driver. Booklets, stickers, etc. Oh, and here's the serial number sticker, which we have to apply on the bottom of the case later on. Very nice, some templates to make some patches. We know these obviously from the Moog Model 32 and other smaller Moogs. And of course we have a manual. So here we are. Some explanations about what Mavis is, and on the back we have an assembly diagram. So we will need a screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, a hex driver, and that's basically it, I think. So let's see if we can find these and assemble this thing. So I decided to do this by the book, just to get an idea how well this manual was written and how easy or difficult it is to assemble the Mavis. First step, attach the rubber feet. So this will be, oh, here we go. So we have these little light pipes that are going to guide the lights from the LEDs towards the casing. Let's not lose these, so I'll keep them in the bag for the moment. So we have the casing here. And we have 4 feet, so let's attach the feet. So that's step 1 completed. Well, on to step 2. Secure PCB to front panel. So for that we will need these little Phillips screws And like I said in the previous section of this video, we also need a hex driver, but Moog actually included this little, I think it is 3D printed little tool, which is very nice because it exactly fits the hex bolt. If I can ever get it out. And the nice thing is that this won't scratch the surface, of course, as opposed to a metal driver. So let's see. Front plate and PCB, and it's supposed to just yeah, go in here. So let's see. Here we are. So I was just checking why it didn't fit exactly, but it turns out that one of these switches was not in the right position. So here we are. Now let's quickly check if everything is aligned on the front, because we won't be able to change that later unless you unscrew the whole thing again. So that looks okay actually. Yeah, so let's do the other four. So here we are. Now Moog mentioned a protective film on the front panel, but I don't think this one actually has it, so we'll just skip that and move on to step 3, which is mounting assembly to chassis. And it says place the PCB panel assembly into the chassis. Be sure that the power jack connection on the PCB panel lines up with the power jack port on the chassis. Use the 4 remaining screws to mount the PCB panel assembly to the chassis. Now let's check out the chassis then. Here we are. And with the power panel they mean this section which is supposed to hold this power socket, which is handy if you align it, that's for sure. So by now you maybe have noticed that these holes and the size of the Mavis is actually Eurorack format as well. So you could fit this one into a Eurorack, and I think there's actually, yeah, here it is. There's a connector here that supports a Eurorack power cable, so you can power it directly from your Eurorack system. But we won't do that for now. We just want to use it standalone, and we will secure it with the 4 remaining screws. Actually, it's not a bad thing to check if all these buttons are aligned here, because you have to disassemble it again if they are not. And actually, I think everything is fine. I can turn all the knobs and touch all the knobs here, so that's okay. So let's move these over to here, and we will check out the next step, which is secure the patch bay and install light pipe. So we use the 8mm end of the hex nut driver here, and we will do all 24 jacks here. This is quite good to do, since if you will patch cables in here and pull them out, push them in here and pull them out, then there will be some pressure applied to the printed circuit board. As you can see, it has a lot of movement at the moment. So yeah, let's install all of these. So now what's left on step 4 is the light pipe, which is the little clear thingy we have here, and we just have to insert it here basically, so it will actually align more or less with well, not sure if this is what it's supposed to be doing, but well, let's leave it for now and see what we have. Now we can actually close the lid like this, and on the back we can apply the serial number sticker. So here we go, all done. Let's hook it up and see if it works. So here is Mavis 10 ready to be powered up, which I will do now. And the only LED on the Mavis is the one that displays the LFO rate, and it will also show you that the unit's actually on. So let's plug it in and see if it makes a sound. It does. Let's take a closer look at the Moog Mavis. It is a monophonic analog synthesizer with one oscillator, a Moog ladder filter, envelope and VCA. In addition, it has a patch bay on the left that provides extra functions. But first, you can stay informed about all our videos by subscribing to our channel. Just click the subscribe button below the video, and you can hit the bell button to get notifications when there's something new on our channel. So the Moog Mavis is a monophonic analog synthesizer, and the one oscillator it has is situated right here in the middle. There's a small rubber key bed here, so you can actually play the synthesizer on the Mavis itself, which is nice. And the VCO is settable between pulse width and sawtooth. I'll let you listen to both waveforms and mix them. Pulse width. And sawtooth. The pulse width can also be modified with PBM, coming from the LFO, which you'll see in a minute, and I'll let you listen to how that sounds. The VCO also has a pitch function. And next to the VCO we have the Moog ladder filter VCF, which is a 24 dB low pass filter, as we know it from Moog very well, and I'll let you listen to it how it sounds. The filter can be modulated by the envelope, which we'll see here. It's a simple ADSR envelope, which can be applied here to the filter, and you can also have the LFO modulator filter and anything in between with this little mixer button here. And there's a VCF modulation amount, which can be negative or positive. So if I set it to positive, set it to EG, the envelope here will control the filter cutoff, like this. The VCA has a volume here, and it has also a VCA mode can be set to on. So in this case we'll just have a droning kind of sound coming from it, because the EG influence on the VCA will be ignored. As said, there's a single LFO, and it can be applied to the filter cutoff like this. And it can range in between triangle and pulse. It can be quite slow, like this, or really fast, almost into audio rate. And it can also be applied to the pitch, actually. So we get some kind of FM modulation here. Further, the keyboard scaling can be set here, so turned fully clockwise there will be a 1 volt difference between these two, so it will be set to 1 volt per octave, but you can also adjust the scale wider, so it will have multiple octaves. Let me just switch off the LFO modulation. And finally, there's a glide encoder here, so you can glide between these two notes, for example. The glide speed can be determined with this knob. Then on the left we have quite an elaborate patch bay, and the positioning on the left is also quite nice, because if you imagine one of the other smaller Moogs like the Modular 32, it will be, the patch bay of that is on the right side, so it will be right next to this one, so you can connect them together, which can be really nice, but in itself, it also offers a lot of functions. So there are a number of inputs and outputs here. The outputs have these white background, so you can see at a glance that it is an input or an output. And we go over them. There's a 1 volt per octave input for the VCO, LFO rate, a gate input, VCA control voltage, cutoff control voltage, pulse width modulation control voltage, and this is quite a special one, the fold in, because this section here called UTL has a wave folder, which is quite rare on a Moog device, I must say, and you can only use it when you patch in a cable. So this works like this. If you take the oscillator output, which should be here, VCO, and we'll put it into the fold in. we will hear the wave folder like this. So we get a nice set of extra harmonics, which is quite nice. Another function that you can only find here on the left on the patch bay is a sample and hold function generator. So when nothing is patched in, the LFO rate will determine the speed of the sample and hold, and it will create a gate and a sample and hold value. So if you can use these to, for instance, control the filter or any of the other input parameters of the patch bay, or go to an external patch bay. Then there's an EG out as well, and there's an attenuator built in, so you can use this to sort of attenuate any of the control signals that you have here on the left. And when nothing's patched in, it will have a steady 5 volt offset voltage, which you can use to have a static voltage applied to any of the other controls here. And there's also a multiple, so multiple inputs and 2 multiple outputs. And there's a little mixer built in here. So if you put the 2 and 1 inputs here, there will be an output of 1 and there will be an output of 1 plus 2. As said, the patch bay of Mavis is situated on the left, which makes it ideal to connect to other small Moogs like the Model 32 or the Supermonicon. Here's an example of a patch with the Model 32. This is the Model 32 you are hearing, and the Mavis is patched through to the external input, which we'll mix in now. As you can hear, it's a very nice complement, so you can add an extra oscillator or even run it through the wave folder of the Mavis. So they really play well together. We will do a separate video with patches from the patch book of Mavis and the Model 32 and also the Supermonicon. So stay tuned if you're interested in those. So what do we think of the Moog Mavis? Well, compared to its predecessor, the Werkstatt, it's a much more usable small synthesizer with its handy format, easy assembly, and the Eurorack compatibility, of course. It is the smallest Moog synth currently available, so if you're looking for a nice sound of a real Moog oscillator and filter, this can be a good choice. The patch bay is very well arranged, and it's nice that they have included a few extras here like the wave folder and sample and hold. And it looks and works very well in combination with other Moogs like the Model 32 and Supermonicon. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see all our videos in the future. We'll see you next time.